So I'm interested to know from you, Mary, about managing career and family. Carol's alluded to you were working full-time at another
Well,
career?
Carol's father died when the children were little.
Oh, and how many children did you have?
5. And they were, 5, 8, 10, 12, and 13. So they were young, but he wasn't insurable. We knew he had a bad heart. And that was before there was any kind of bypass operations. So when Warren died, I didn't have very much money at all. And there was no question about but I was going to work. But I had subbed for a friend who wrote radio shows. And I said, if there's a show available, I'll take it. And they said, yes, there is one. It's called Portrait of a Patriot. Those were 4-minute programs in 13-week cycles. They ran Monday through Friday. And they were syndicated to 500 radio stations. So I wrote that series, and then I wrote a beauty series, and we would have celebrities on. I wrote a cooking show, Cooking with Cass, for Peggy Cass. I wrote a birthday, an anniversary show for Betty White. I wrote the historical show for Hugh Downs. I wrote a news show for Bess Myers, and drop a hat and I became an expert.
Well, so could you telecommute in those days, even though there weren't computers? Did you have to be at the studio to do this writing, or could you do that from home?
Well, I started for the first year at home, but then they said they really wanted someone who could be in the studio. And fortunately, my mother, who was 42 when I was born, so she was, 76 or something like that, but she was home with the kids. She'd go crawl to her apartment on the weekends with 5 lively kids. But at 3 o'clock when they came home, there was always someone there, which is terribly important for children, that you don't have young children home alone. So thanks to her, I could really work. And, you know, then I got home and they'd have started supper or maybe burned it. But
more likely burned it.
And where was all this taking place? Where were you living at that time?
Well, we moved to New Jersey from Manhattan when I was expecting Carol, because we were in a 2-bedroom apartment. Now my number 4 child is coming along. And I said to her father, "Dear heart, do not plan to play golf this Saturday." And in those days, dear God, $13,000 for a house, $2,000 down. Can we ever carry $89 a month?
Yes, yes. Different times, certainly. Well as writing individually or independently, you also write together, and these, as far as I know, have been holiday suspense novels. Dashing Through the Snow was the latest one.
Right.
So how does that process work, like in everyday terms? Do you email with each other? Are you in the
side by side, the same room? Carol uses the laptop, so she does the physical down. But we get together and we write every word together. Mm-hmm. And it's usually about 3 intense months, and I mean intense, because they asked us last year if we would do another one. The books have been very successful, so the publisher would love it if we do one every year. But I had said, isn't it going to be too much work? Okay, let's do it. So it was really July, August, September, and part of October of intense work. You know, the summer came and went. But we have fun doing it because those books are supposed to be humorous. They're suspense, but it's lighthearted suspense. It's not, 4 people by the serial killer kind of book. And we just start with a general premise, and we want funny characters. Publishers Weekly pay Carol a wonderful compliment. Her characters are Dickensian.
Yeah, but it's fun doing it together because it's usually in the summertime and then a little bit into the fall, so we can be at my mother's beach house or out on the porch, and it's easier to be able to spend time together then because life is a little less busy. And we really enjoy it. And we don't fight. People want to know the gossip about fighting. Don't you argue? And we really don't, because you create this fictional world where people do what you want them to do. Real life can be tough enough with everybody having their things going on in their life. But setting this up, we have my character, Reagan, and my mother's character, Elvira, who won $40 million in the lottery. She was a cleaning woman whose life I saved when I typed the book she appeared in. My mother had killed her off 20 years ago, and I said, don't let Elvira die. And I never knew I'd be writing a book with her in it, but that's what makes it fun.
Well, I think that's wonderful rules of the road for our listeners to take up with mother-child relationships. Create a fictional world.
Create a fictional world. That's what I mean. They do what you want.
Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Right. It's delightful talking with both of you, and I'm looking forward to talking with you more over the next couple of weeks. I've been talking with Mary Higgins Clark and Carol Higgins Clark. Do join us next week when we talk further with them. Carol's latest book is Cursed, and Mary's is Just Take My Heart. You will find a link for more information at wvxu.org. For Around Cincinnati, I'm Barbara Gray.